But we know that for you to have solid understanding, starting with Excel is a good way for you to grow your data analysis journey. So you talked about large files. This section is not only going to be on Excel. Over time, you also be moving to Power BI. Power BI helps you to overcome that limitation of Excel. Excel, for instance, can only do about 1.3 million something rows. And if you have data that starts to run into 2, 3, 4 billion and million and above, you can't handle that with Excel, and it starts to crash. So Power Query, as we are working right now in Excel, it's exactly the same Power Query that you see in Power BI. And in Power BI, you don't have the limitations of large files. So what I would advise is just, for now, focus on learning the concepts. Most of the things you are doing in Excel, you still see that there are more or less repetitions in Power BI. And Power BI helps you to handle those larger files. It makes it easier for you. You've spoken about real life financial industry data and all of that. I want you to know that there are kind of constraints in terms of real life or company data that can be shared to you. Remember that those things are real life data, so they're confidential. So there is limitation to what can be shared to you. So what I can promise is that if it's a dummy data set that will help you to consolidate on your learning, that I can provide to the transcript team to provide to everyone. But if it's on sharing more or less my company data, for instance, for you to work with, I don't think that would be very feasible for me to share that, because I'll be breaching confidentiality agreement with my firm, right? But what I've gone through the materials, for instance, that was shared by the guys in YouTube, that was also shared in the Google Classroom, right? Those things help you to consolidate on the basics. So the way it's going to look like in the real world, nobody will come and telling you, do append, do join, do merge, do this. What they'll be doing, for instance, is that, let's say I'm going to give you different data sources. It could be CSV files, it could be text files, it could be Excel, it could be SQL Server, it could be from SharePoint. It could come from anywhere at all, right? So they give you those data sets, and what they want you to do as a data analyst is to model it, clean it up, and answer the business questions they're asking you. So it's now left for you to now know that, oh, since I have these different data sets, I need to do some modeling. Oh, this table and this table. For me, since I can't be doing VLOOKUP in Power BI or this here, oh, I need to do merge. Oh, these tables are together. The schema is the same. I need to append them so that I'll just have one large table that has all the, instead of having 3 different tables that speak to the same thing. Oh, for me to get this kind of thing, I need to get some join. I need to join 2 tables together. What kind of join am I going to do? So it's just to applying these basics, these concepts you're learning now to solve that problem. There is no time you see a real life case where someone will be telling you to do a join or do a query or do a merge or do an append. Those are basic transformation that you will just have to do.
Sorry about that. You are just getting exactly what I'm saying. You understand? You are just getting. It's just like nobody come and tell you to apply platform. No, they just want to apply those physical and logical to tell us, okay, this is the problem, or create a software as a service. So that's why I'm saying, if you can give us, even if it's a dummy data, large data set, dummy data set.
Yeah, I get you. So what I can promise you, right, is you are still learning the basics. Excuse me. So if I give you a real life data now, you are going to struggle to do them because you haven't learned so much of the concepts that you'll be applying to solve those business cases. So there's no how I'll be giving you a real life data, even if I try to remove the things that are sensitive there. And it will only require you to do merge or append only. There will be lots of other concepts that will be tested there, which is why this learning is more like broken into phases, where you learn the essentials. You learn the essentials so that when you get that business case, you are essentially just applying all the knowledge areas you've gotten to solve those business cases, right? So there will be case studies where you'll be giving more or less real business issues to solve. It's not going to end with what you're doing now with merge, but you need to first of all learn those fundamentals. So when you see those business cases, what you essentially do is applying all you've learned in terms of data cleaning, in terms of visualization, in terms of analysis and all of that to address those customer questions or those business case studies, right? So giving it to you now will not make it won't be of benefit to you because in the end, what are you going to do? You just do merge or append and or one small transformation. You won't have achieved anything. So this is why this is a process. It's broken down into stages so that in every time we are building upon the precepts and the fundamentals that we are exposing you to. So that when you get those business case study, right, you'll be seeing, oh, this is where I'm going to apply merges. Oh, this is where I'm going to apply this knowledge of visualization. Oh, this is where I'm going to apply this knowledge of analytics. Oh, this is where I'm going to apply this. So you are now consolidating all the different learning points to solve that business case study. So at this point, I don't think this is like the right time to give you like a holistic business case to work on because you haven't gotten sufficient knowledge to be able to tackle all of those, right? So what you can be laying your hands on, which is what the Excel guys try to do, is to give you material that you can use to practice on that fundamental teaching they're trying to let you understand, right? So when you understand those fundamentals, when you now see the business case study, it becomes easier for you to like apply all those fundamentals you've mastered in solving those scenarios, right? But if it's about getting business case study, you're not just going to finish here and just go without solving real life business issues. But at this point, I don't think it's the best time to expose you to those business issues because I feel honestly that you haven't done enough in terms of concepts or fundamentals to be able to answer all those kind of real life questions. For instance, I can give you a data set and say, oh, this is let's say loan data from a bank from 2000 to 2022. We are trying to come up with a model that will show us which people we should be giving loans to. What are your recommendations? These are typical real life issues, right? So if I give it to you like this, you discover that just me asking this question now, you feel almost blank. You're like, where do you start from? Because you have not really mastered all those concepts. But if you've gone round to understand the concept, first off, you're asking yourself, what kind of data sets are you getting? What is the relationship you need to build? What is the model you need to build? What is the kind of visuals or the kind of questions you need to be asking? What kind of analysis do you need to do to get this insight? How do you present this data to the stakeholders? These are the kind of things you'll be doing, which is what the DA100 learning point also addresses, right? So what I would advise is trust the process. Just any material that you're given, try to master the learning point, and beyond mastering it, try to know why you are doing that material. For this current stuff that we are studying, which is on merges, appends, and joints, right? Ask yourself, what is the real reason why I've been asked to learn this? You see, it's not just for the fun of merges. The real reason is that in real life, most times you'll be dealing with different data sources. And just like in Excel, where you do VLOOKUPs, XLOOKUP, and all of that, there are times that you work with even 50 different data sources, 100 different data sources. You are getting data sources, you're getting data from different places, millions of rows, right? Currently, I'm working on a project where I'm working with about 15 tables, each of them about 10 million rows. And you need to be able to deal with those things. Performance issues will come up. You being able to create those models will come up. So understanding things like this merge, these joints, is what will help you to know how do you combine two tables. So you have one to reduce this. How do you append? So that managing the database or your reports become easier. So those are where these fundamentals will come up again, right? But just trust the process. If you say learn merges, know the difference, know how to merge, know how to append. If you say learn joints, know what an inner joint is and how will it be applicable in real life. Know what a full outer joint is and why would you even need it. Know what the left anti-joint is all about. Or if you say right anti-joint, what is it all about? How is it possible? How is it going to be applicable in real life? If you say left outer, right outer, all those kind of joints. Because even when you go to Excel again, you make the same joints again. The same thing with the same principle. You go to Power BI, you are going to meet the same joints again. You go to Tableau, you are going to meet the same joints. So all the platforms. So these are like fundamentals. Regardless of the tool you are using, the fundamentals are the same. So if you're able to master it now, even with Excel, when you start doing it again in Power BI, it becomes more like repetition and you consolidate that learning. And it becomes easier for you to really apply it. I think I've spoken extensively on this. I don't know if in any way you are a bit comfortable or you still have some concerns.
Hello, let me tip you something. I thank you for your response I've given so far. Honestly, before now, I've been thinking about this for a while now. Understanding the concept is all I believe we required. When you don't understand the concept, you will be confused. Anyway, thank you very much. You have cleared my mind. I have someone who told me that you must understand the basics. That's what is required. If you know that, you do very well. So thank you for your response. I won't regret being present today. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that. And if you look at this, the learning, the way we are teaching you, right, is really structured. Most people just go out there, probably they just learn how to do dashboard, and they feel like they're already data analysts and doing all of that. And when you ask them some salient questions or they meet some business issues, they struggle to get it done because they just go and learn the flashy things and just to showcase that they are doing this and doing that. But this really is the basis. If you've been using Excel before, from this course that you are doing, you see that your knowledge of Excel is like 1%. So this, if you're able to master this, you will see that you really be firm. Like if you look at the MSPDA learning curriculum, it's very rich. Even me as a Microsoft certified trainer, I still go and review some of those things to refresh my memory. That's to tell you how robust and rich those things are. Most people that come out today don't go through this structure. So they just learn probably videos here and there. It's not really structured. And they miss us on some key fundamentals. What our advice is just trust the process. It might look like it's too tedious right now because most of the things you are doing are not so fun. Unlike people that will start designing dashboards and start having flashy visuals here and there. Those things are important. You still come to them, but they are not really the meat of analysis. Analysis is you being able to clean. Transformation is like one major thing that you will struggle with if you don't learn it now when you start to do your analysis work. Things like this merge and append that we are seeing and other transformation tools. You get real life data that is messed up. It's not going to be ever be neat and well arranged to you in Excel as you say it. Not like that most times. Sometimes they are just messed up and you need to do lots of transformation. So if you don't understand all these basic transformations that is being taught now in Power Query, you really will struggle. If you want to be an advanced Power BI user, one of the things you must master is transformation. And transformation is done in Power Query. And what we are doing now is introduce you to this transformation using even from Excel. So even when you come to Power BI, it's more or less repetition. So just trust the process and do your part. When you start to advance, you will really be better off for it. And when you compare what you know with your peers, you see that you are far off. You are far better than them, right? So just what our advice is, take your time to go through the materials and really understand them. And don't just cram and just watch video and repeat what they're doing. Try to know the root causes. Why are they doing this? Where can it be applicable? In real life, when will I need to do this? If you can answer all those questions, that's why the Slack channel is there. That's why sessions like this are there. You ask questions, you can say, Ruby, sorry, this merge that I just learned last week or this week, how can it be applied in real life? Or what could be the need? So you start to see the purpose why you are doing that. And it makes you to consolidate even your zeal in learning those things, knowing that it is meaningful. What we are teaching is not like in university those days that you tell you draw skeleton or draw, you have bombs or do things that in real life you're not going to use. Trust me, all the concepts you're learning now, you are going to be applying all of them in your data analysis job. So none of them is a waste. So just take time to really review them. I don't know if there are other questions. If there are no questions, probably what I'll do is to use 10 minutes to summarize like the lesson 6 and 7. But if there are questions, let's hear them. Yeah.
It's not a kind of question. No. I would like to know, knowing the theoretical aspects of it, would it be of good to us, you know?
Yeah, so if you see the way the lessons are structured, we don't just want to, if you do theory, how do you confirm to yourself that you actually know it, right? The theory is good, but it's not enough. You need to do the labs, you need to do the assignments, you need to do the practical sessions, you need to download the work files and work along with them. That is when you consolidate. But the theory is good, but it's not sufficient. You need to be able to do the lab sessions, the practicals, so that you confirm to yourself that it works and you truly know it. And it also helps you to build up your arsenal. So in future, when you have issues, you know that, oh, I did this in time past. Let me go and look for the Excel I use in practicing this. It becomes easy for you to refresh your mind. But when it's theory, you become confused. And even when you read it again, you struggle to remember what you even did at that point in time. So it's always good for you to also practice what you're learning.
Okay.
And also document what you are learning. Probably have a folder where all these materials are downloading, you are putting them there as a practicing. So in future, those things become more like your reference points when there are issues for you to come back and refresh your memory. I don't know if that helps.
Yes, a lot, a whole lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
Yeah. I don't know, are there other questions? If there are no questions, probably what I'll do, we'll still have 20 minutes to go. Might just be I'm not supposed to like teach you the material. This was supposed to be like a discussion for you to bring up questions on the material, areas of challenges, so we can trash it out. But if there are no other questions, maybe what I'll just do to help you develop more or less sense of purpose when you are reading it might just be to give you a broad overview of what those two lessons are talking about. I believe that we can call it a day from there. But if there are other questions or concerns, let's take it.
Excuse me, please. Knowing the functionality in Excel, knowing it very well. So what will be the effect, you know?
Can the question be a bit more specific?
Well, knowing the functionalities in Excel,
yeah,
you are very good in Excel, knowing the functionality very well. How will you be of a help? Because I'm trying to compare someone that knows Power BI very well without being a master in Excel. So how will the two go together?
Trust me, Power BI is more or less the foundation of Power BI is really in Excel.
Okay.
Things like this Power Query that you're seeing in Power BI, they were all Power Pivot and all of that. They were all Excel tools, right? So you see your Power Pivots, your charts, your Power Query, and all of that. Microsoft just combined all those machines, combine them together to form Power BI. So if you are doing Power BI and you don't know Excel, trust me, you're going to struggle.
Okay.
Someone that has Excel will be better off because the principles of Excel is like the foundation for you. Okay. Things you are doing now, like VLOOKUP, if statement, conditional statement, yes. Writing those advanced queries or formulas, things like these joins. When you start using Power BI now, you see that they're exactly the same thing. The only thing is that in Power BI now, since we're working probably with larger data sets, it helps you to manage those things. It makes your life quite easier. Unlike probably things that you'd have done with 4 or 5 clicks or functions in Excel. Probably in Power BI, 1 or 2 clicks will help you achieve it. But if you don't know the fundamentals, you won't even be able to know that 1 or 2 clicks or what those 1 or 2 clicks are doing. Right? So Excel is like very robust for that, which is why if you want to grow in your analysis journey, you must know Excel. It's robust. Overall, all these things are tools. The important thing is your mindset. How do you think? Excel, Power BI, Tableau, SQL, all of them are all tools. So it's still you, the user, that will be able to make sense out of those tools to solve your business problems, right? But trust me, going through Excel before Power BI gives you a lot of clarity and a lot of background knowledge that you'll be better off with. I don't know if that helps. Are there other questions or concerns? Okay. I'll just give a very high-level summary of the two lessons you were supposed to have finished, so that when you now go back now, possibly you remember what I said about them, and it will be easier for you. So what I was supposed to speak to, I was supposed to speak to two topics. One essentially is one broad topic, but let's call it two lessons. Lesson 6, which is talking about data transformation. Or in that transformation there, I'm supposed to just focus on three things: merge, append, and on pivots. Then lesson 7 is talking about joins, different kinds of joins. So let me take a step back and review and just quickly give you a high level summary on those transformation. So in Excel, I don't know your level so far now. You would have been used to things like VLOOKUP, where you are looking up, you are more or less checking on that table to get results on some, or to get answers to your questions, right? So sometimes when you're working with tables, imagine you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 tables. Sometimes you really want to just consolidate these tables. Instead of having 10, probably you want to have just 2 tables based on their relationship, so that it's easier for you to manage or do your interpretation. Power Query helps us to do most of those transformations. So in Power BI or in Excel, I like to call Power Query the kitchen of Power BI and even Excel in terms of transformation. So that is where you do your cleaning. When you say transformation, more or less making sure your data is in the shape and format it has to be, is clean, is regular, and everything, so that we are not doing analysis on data that is faulty. You want data that you are working with to be of good integrity, so that the analysis or the insight you are getting, excuse me, so the insight you are getting, you are sure they are correct. Because as analysts, based on your insight, businesses will be committing resources to implement those insights, because your insights more or less will help them to drive their strategy. So you want to be sure that the insights you are getting are from the right data sources. So merge, append, and on pivots are just different ways that you can also transform your data. So when we talk about append, imagine you have a report that grows. So let's say today you have a report, it's about 100 rows, right? And tomorrow there's another report, the same kind of report, but new sets, and that 100 rows. Next tomorrow, another set of the same kind of report, 100 rows. So you have 3 tables that are speaking to the same thing, but different data set for different days. Now you're asking yourself, instead of you having 3 tables that will give you the same thing, probably you come and analyze the same in one table, you analyze exactly the same thing in second table, you analyze the same thing in third table. Why don't you join all these 3 tables, since they are similar, to just have one big table that has all the 3 days file? Highest, what will be different there will just be the dates and the real data, right? So instead of you having 3 tables, why don't you consolidate those 3 tables into one? That is easy for you to just do your analysis once. So if you want to see like the sum of, let's say, the revenue, so you're doing some in one table, some in the other table, and some in the other table, and coming to join 3 of them together, you're asking yourself, if it's in one table, I just need to do this sum once, which is the concept of append. So append is that you have your file and the rows keep growing. So every day when you have new data sets, as long as the formats are the same, you keep stacking more data on top. So today ended at 100, row 100. Tomorrow there are fresh data, probably extra 5. You add it, it's now 105. Next tomorrow there's another 10. You add it, it's now 115. So it keeps growing that way. You have just one big data set. Instead of you having different tables broken down here and there, which is what that append tries to do. For merges are basically probably have 2 tables, and you want to combine 2 of them together. So I just make it to become one. So in future, you start hearing technical terms like normalization and denormalization. I don't want to introduce that now, but later on, when you start doing your data modeling in Power BI, you still start to see things like normalization and denormalization. So normalization is something as you consolidating or you trying to, or when you say denormalization, it's more or less you trying to merge different tables to have one big master table. So when we say merges, you're just trying to merge one or two tables together so you have one bigger table. But in append, you're just trying to grow the rows. So you have, you keep increasing the rows. So that was what that lesson was supposed to teach you, to see how you can combine 2 or 3 tables together, or how you can keep growing a table in terms of the rows, so you are able to have a very firm grasp of your data. Because in real life, you have different sources, and if they are uniform, you should be able to merge the two or three tables together or append them. So you need to know the difference between append and merge, right? So in append, you are really more or less growing your rows. In merge, more or less, your columns are increasing. So those are the things you need to note. Then lesson 7 was talking about, then the third one was on pivots. If you go through that Excel, it's very explanatory. You'll see what on pivot tries to do. Sometimes the way data set is opened, is entered in Excel, it makes it quite easier, but when you start to do your analysis, you see that it really doesn't help you the way it's arranged, the way the table is structured, it really doesn't help you. So on pivot is one of the ways you can rearrange the way that table is was set up, so that it's easy for you to do your analysis, right? And then the lesson 7 was just talking about joints, different kinds of joints, where if you need to get answers from different tables, how do you merge, or how do you combine those tables to get your answer? For instance, you in secondary school, I know we did things like sets, where you say something is a subset of, you say this intersection, this union, this, and all of that. So if you did those Venn diagrams, remember all those Venn diagrams, right? You discover that principle that you did in maths then is what is guiding joins in Excel, in Power BI, in everywhere, in SQL. Those are the principles. So sometimes you have data in one table, let's say table A, or let's say in class now, you have a table from a course you did in, so let's say you're studying geology, for instance. You have a departmental course in geology that you've studied, that you've taken in the semester. You have an external course that you are taking, let's say from statistics. You have another course you are taking from, let's say, humanities, here and there. And then you're asking yourself, oh, okay, how do I get answers from these different tables? That is where joins start to come in. Possibly somebody wants to know who are the students that took electives in statistics and also took departmental courses. So you're looking for people that took both of those courses, meaning you bring database for people that took statistics, you bring database of people that took the departmental courses. Excuse me. And you're trying to look for the intersection, which is people that took both. And that is really the concept of the inner join. Inner join, you have one table here, you have another table there. You're trying to see what is common between both of them. That is what you are interested in. Which, if you are using your Venn diagram, you say intersection. So if you say A intersection B, you're looking for what is found in table A and it's also found in table B that is common between both of them. That is what you want to see. So if you are doing analysis and that was your answer, knowing that, oh, in Excel, in Power BI, there's something called inner join. Just for you to do that transformation and say inner join and you get your answer. So you're spending time doing all of that. So those are the concepts that are discussed in those joins. I've looked at the Excel video that I was using teaching it. It's very robust and clear enough that if you go through it step by step, trust me, you really understand what is being taught. And that essentially is what is being portrayed there. When you have different tables, how do you get answers to your questions? In Excel, you have your VLOOKUP, your XLOOKUP, your HLOOKUP, and all of that. But how can you do that in Power Query? How can you do that in Power BI? How can you do that in other analysis tools and all of that without having to use VLOOKUP and all of that? So that is what these joins are talking about. I want to take it seriously. But when you start doing your SQL, writing your queries, you will meet these joins again. When you go to Power BI, you meet these joins again. Because over time, you see that you're working with different data sources. So you need to be able to know how to combine those tables to get the kind of answers you need at any particular point in time. Whether it's the union that you want, whether it's the intersection that you want, whether it's the complement that you want, probably what is in A that's not in B. Regardless of any kind of scenario you want to create, there's a join for that. So knowing these kind of joins help you to navigate those kind of situations. So that is what really learning content for lesson 6 and 7 is trying to address. So we have 6 minutes to go. So I will just pause and get your final thoughts, your questions. My challenge to you is, it seems most of us here have not even gone through the material. And my challenge to you is for you to make up time. The two the two YouTube videos, they're not even up to 1 hour. The first video, lesson 6, is about 24 minutes. The other one is about 38 minutes. So it's just like 1 hour. So imagine after this call, you just spend 1 hour and say from 8 to 9, you just want to watch that Excel. You would have gained lots of knowledge that you will be happy that you spent your day well, right? So it's not like it's a very long material that you need to spend too much time to do. I know most of us in Lagos or other places, you might have other things to do and it can be stressful. But just imagine just taking 1 hour after this class now to do those lesson 6 and 7 videos. You will see that what I'm saying now will make much more sense to you. And it's something that you can do. It's not like that tedious, right? We've given you the links, giving you the resources you need to excel. So just for you to make out that 1 hour, for instance, to trash out these two learning outcomes, and you see that your knowledge base will improve and you'll be happy that you've learned something new. So I'll pause at this time to just get your final thoughts before we call it a day. If there are questions based on what I've said, if there are comments, if there are challenges, or if you want to renew your commitment that you finish these 2 lessons I just talked about, it's just 1 hour after now. Possibly if you have issues, the Slack channel is there for you to post. I'll make out time to check it out and also respond to you. That will help. So let me just pause. I've been speaking for a while. Let me hear from you. What are your resolutions? Did this section help you gain clarity? Possibly challenge you on what to do? Are there comments you want to make on any issue at all, any concern at all you have? This will be the right time, so we can address it in the next 5 minutes. The floor is open, guys. Let's talk. Or I've done a good job whetting your appetite and explaining the issues. Are there no questions?
Good evening, sir. Thank you for everything you said. It's what the brief explanation you explained. We will just go through it and go through it like the 1 hour you said.
Okay, I think Fidelis is breaking up a bit.
And send our questions to you. Actually, made it easier for me now.
Okay.
Did you get me, sir? Did you get me, sir?
Yeah, I heard you, Fidelis. Yeah. So you are committing to finishing the material, the 1 hour, doing the 1 hour at least to watch the videos tonight, right?
Yes, then send you any question I have.
Okay, great. So if there are questions, just put it on the Slack channel and I'll be happy to address them.
Thank you very much, sir.
Gori, Titilokbe, Kola, I know. The other person, your name is not there. I'm only seeing HP. Can we get final comments? Just unmute and let's talk.
Okay, for me, I think I'm very fine, and I can always I work more with chats and dropping messages on Slack channel. So I'll just explore that and move on.
Okay, great. That works. Thanks so much, Kola. Yeah, Gori, you have any comments?
Mine is not okay. Mine is not like it's a. Okay.
We'll keep doing the training.
No, Rory, go ahead.
Yeah, I said we'll keep doing the training, keep getting us following the process.
All right. So just trust, as I said, trust the process, bro. No rush. All the case studies you want. Trust me. Transfer is a great community. So it's not ending here. It's a journey. It's a journey. So just trust the process and build on the precepts.
Yeah, so that after the transcripts and the exam, once we are passed, you can link us up sharp.
No, that's the goal now. That's the goal. Opportunities are everywhere, right? Data analysis opportunities are everywhere. So, which is why we want you to really go through this and learn.
Because if this thing is not used to make cash in pockets, it'll be small to know.
So if it's not going to make cash, then why are we here? we won't even be practicing, right? Exactly. There will be no need for me to say I'm a Microsoft certified trainer or data analyst and be doing data analysis. He has to pay the bills, right? But for you to pay the bills, you must be adept. You must be good at it. You must deliver value to your stakeholders. And this is the foundation, which is why you must take it seriously. Once you sow this seed now, you are guaranteed that the job is not going to be a problem, right? There are opportunities everywhere. The question is, can you do the job? Can you do the analysis, right? Which is why you really need to buckle up and beef up your knowledge at this point. Most people don't have this kind of opportunity, trust me. People are probably sleeping or just watching movies and while away time. But in the end, you see how far you've come in 90 days if you are diligent enough to follow through. So I think that's it. I don't know. The admin, are there final comments? Yeah,
no,
go ahead.
That's a kind of final comment. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. But I'm having the kind of challenges, Whenever I want to download the material through zip, something. So I'm having that issue in downloading the materials. That has been my challenge. I haven't tested it on phone.
What is the issue? Wait, is it? I don't know. What are you having issue downloading? Is it the work files or the
work files? Exactly. The files. Exactly. The files. What I'm having issue in downloading. I don't know what.
So if you click on it in your Google Classroom, you're unable to download it or what?
Okay. Whenever I open the last site, I click on it through zip of zip of a thing. So it will show download. At the end of the day, I will go to my Excel. I'll click for the that particular item to open. Open. So
what error messages do you typically get? Or no error message?
No error message. I just be clicking on it. It's still not open. I just be clicking on it.
Do you usually unzip it? Do you unzip it?
Yes.
What tools are you using?
Is it that zip something that I use in opening it? I don't follow other means and say that.
Maybe we should ask what operating system you use, sir.
I'm using normal laptop.
I don't think it's operating system.
Because I need to get data. Excuse me. Whenever after watching the particular video, so I need to get data from the files. I'm not forgetting and practice one or two things. So I'm having an issue in getting those data. Honestly.
Okay. Maybe what you can do, take screenshots of the issues from when you download to port opening and post on Slack so that somebody can help you address it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Maybe if it means if after posting it's now difficult for anybody to challenge to help you, possibly you can have more or less a one-on-one quick Zoom chat with one of the mentors to just share your screen and let them walk you through what to do. But just try it, take screenshots and post on Slack and try and get help.
Okay.
Again, if you even Google it, also you will see what the issue could be, and you can also help yourself and fix it. But if you can't, just take screenshots and post in the communication channel, and someone will be happy to help. Thanks for your chat. Yeah, the one I talked about is MSPTDA 6 and 7. So MSPTDA 6, The video is about roughly 24 minutes. MSPTDA 7, the video is roughly about 38 minutes. So overall, it's about 62 minutes. So just roughly 1 hour. So if you devote 1 hour, you'll be able to watch those lessons 6 and 7. And then in your free time, you can now practice using the work files that was given to you. I hope that addresses it. Okay, time check, this is past 8. I think we've had a good 1 hour chat. So let's go back and let's motivate ourselves to carry on to do the needful, so we don't have so much backlogs. Because what happens is, if you're not following at the pace you should follow, time will come when people will be talking about MSPTDA 9 and you're probably still in MSPTDA 4. And it becomes tough for you to carry on, and you start having those discouragements, and it starts to pile up and becomes challenging. But if you just spend all this daily 1 hour on this stuff, trust me, if you spend 1 hour daily, you'll be fine. You'll be able to catch up perfectly fine. Like this 1 hour I'm speaking about now is for lesson 6 and 7, which probably was like 2 days kind of expectation. And you can just get it done in 1 hour. So it's just for you to be consistent. Devote, if it's 1 hour 30 minutes every day, to learning these things, and you will be better off for it, right? So I think I've spoken enough on that. At this juncture, I wish you well, and I look forward to seeing your questions on Slack if there are any. I also want to see you fulfilling your own bargain by taking out time to review these materials, and we'll be here to celebrate your progress together. So thanks everyone for coming to the office hour tonight. Let's have a good evening.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Reuben. Thank you so much. It was such a very informative class. Thank you so much for all the information and the words of encouragement. So everyone, I wouldn't want to take much of our time anymore. Have a good night rest, and good night, everyone. Okay, so before we go, let me just pass an information across. I'll still post it, but let me just pass it. So for next week, we'll not be posting any materials next week. So this is to enable us, for those of us that are not up to date with our lectures, those of us that have backlogs, is to enable us catch up with our backlogs. And then from upper week, we'll continue posting the lectures again. So I just thought to just pass that information across. So have a good night rest, everyone.
Sorry, please. Can you repeat what you just said?
Yeah, I said we'll not be posting any lectures next week. That's next week. I'm still going to post lectures for Wednesday and for Friday. But for next week, we'll not be posting any lectures, so that those people that have backlogs can quickly finish it up before we start posting lectures again upper week. So basically, that's what I said. So yes.
You can give us some dummy data, plenty. We appreciate. So
yeah, there'll be mentor sessions every day next week. We'll have mentor sessions Monday to Fridays. So you can quickly finish up your backlogs and then come along with your questions to ask the mentors. There will not be we'll not post lectures, but we'll have mentor sessions every day next week.
Okay, that's good. I understand what I said. If you have a lot of dummy, so that we'll just why we also play. We just don't.
Okay, no problem. I'll remind the mentors.
Okay, then I also want to find out. I don't know if you're gonna post it on the Slack channel. The payment for the PL300 exams. I think it's supposed to elapse this month end. So would appreciate if you can shed more light on it, either now or
on how to make payment. Is it how to make payment?
How to make payment and all this.
Okay, I will pass. I'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll talk to my supervisors, and then I should send a message on that tomorrow. Send a message on that tomorrow. Yes. So thank you, everyone. Have a good night rest. Bye bye.